All right, so faces, we are reviewing how to divide by two-digit numbers this week. Remember that you can do this in box or traditional. I'm going to start with traditional, but I will do a video for both. So let's set this up. Our larger number goes inside the house, smaller number outside. And we start with, can 15 go into 1? No. Can 15 go into 10? No. 15 is going to go into 100 6 times because 6 times 15 is 90. When I subtract 100, take away 90 is 10. My answer is 6 with a remainder of 10. This one we have 861 divided by 10. Does 10 go into 8? No. Does 10 go into 86? Yes, 8 times. 8 times 10 is 80. Subtract 86, take away 80 is 6, bring down. 10 goes into 61 6 times, which leaves us with 1 left over. Remember, if at any point you would like to slow this down, go ahead and pause it. You can rewatch as needed. So does 11 go into 1? No. Does 11 go into 10? Also no, but it does go into 100. How many times? 9 times, because 9 times 11 is 99. When I subtract 100, take away 99, I get 1. I bring down my 6. 11 goes into 16 one time. When I subtract, I have 5 left over. The answer is 91 with a remainder of 5. Moving over here, 126 divided by 14. So we're trying to think, does 14 go into 1? No. 12? No. It's going to go into 126, and this one is going to go in 9 times. 9 times 14 is 126 on the nose, which leaves us with 0. Remember the power of guess and check. I don't know my 14 times tables most likely, but I can come over here and guess. Let's see, 14 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6, add 2 is 8. And then I could add another 14. Or I could do another off to the side. Well, what is 14 times 8? Or what is 14 times 9? Use guess and check. These are not just going to pop into your head, okay? Up to here, 46 divided by 13. Again, I probably don't know my 13 times tables. I can do 13, 26, 39. I might be able to get a little bit further. If I went one more, it would be 52. So the answer is going to be 3. 3 times 13 gave me 39. When I subtract, that leaves me with 7. 3, remainder of 7 is the answer for this one. Last one on this page, 1,612 divided by 12. Here we go. Does 12 go into 1? No. Does 12 go into 16? Yes, it's going to go in 1 time. And 1 times 12 is 12. And 16 take away 12 leaves me with 4. I bring down my 1. I'm thinking of skip counting by 12s. 12, 24, 36 is going to be the closest I can get. And when I subtract 41, take away 36, I'm left with 5, running out of space. Bring down my 2. Closest I can get for this one is going to be 4. Put my 4 up top. 4 times 12 is 48. When I subtract, I'm left with 4. 134 with a remainder of 4. That's the end of the first page. So if this is as far as you've gotten, please go ahead and stop the video. Otherwise, we're going to keep moving and grooving on to our next one. So this is page 2 of our work for the week, where we have 1,634, and we are dividing that by 18. So I'm starting off with my questions. Does 18 go into 1? 16? 163? Yes. Over here, I can do guess and check to figure out how close I can get. I know that 18 is going to go in 9 times because 9 times 18 is 162. But guess and check is going to help you. Be careful with this last step. Does 18 go into 14? No. Is there anything left to bring down? No. So I'm going to put that 0 up to show that I tried, but it was too small. 90 with a remainder of 14 is going to be the answer for this one. All right, 530 divided by 11. 11s are a little bit easier because we can do our skip counting, right? 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. I'm going to see that 44 is the closest I can get here. And when I do 53, take away 44, I'm left with 9. I bring down my 0. The closest I can get is 8 for 88. Leaves me with a remainder of 2. 48, remainder of 2. 365 divided by 10. My brain might be making connections on this one, right? Because I know that multiplying by 10 is the same as adding a 0 to what I would get if I multiplied by 1. But I'm going to do the steps. So 10 does not go into 3, but it does go into 36 3 times. 3 times 10 is 30. Subtract for 6, bring down my 5. 10 is going to go into 65 6 times. 60 is the closest I can get. My answer is 36 with a remainder of 5. Moving over here to 396 divided by 18. This one is going to go in with no remainder. Does 18 go into 3? No, but it does go into 39 2 times. 18 times 2 gives me 36. I subtract for 3. I bring down my 6. I notice these are a match. No remainder. My answer is 22. 2 more on this page. We have 864 divided by 16. 16 does not go into 8, but it does go into 86. It's going to go in 5 times. 5 times 16 is going to give me 80. Subtract for 6, bring down my 4. 16, the closest that I can get to 64 is times 4. 16 times 4 is going to give me 64 on the nose, no remainder. My answer is 54. 619 divided by 14 is the last one on this page. You are almost on your second sheet. This is going to have a remainder. So let's see. 14 does not go into 6, but it does go into 61 4 times. 14 times 4 gives me 56. When I subtract 61, take away 56, I'm left with 5. Bring down my 9. Again, the closest I can get is 56, so another 4. When I subtract 56 this time, I'm left with 3. 44 with a remainder of 3 is my answer. That is the end of page 2. Go ahead and stop here if that is as far as you've gotten. If you are ready for page 3, hang tight because here it comes. First one on page 3 is 1,564 divided by 16. Set up your problem. 16 does not go into 1 or 15, but it does go into 156. Remember, use your guess and check. This is going to go in 9 times. We know that 9 is the biggest option, so if it's a pretty big number, start your guess and check with the number times 9. We know it can only be a 1-digit number, so 9 is going to be our biggest option here. 9 times 16 is 144. When I subtract that, I'm left with 12. I bring down my 4. 16 is going to go in, let's say 7 times, which gives us 112. And when we subtract here, we're left with a remainder of 12. 97, remainder of 12. All right, Nuggets, 595 divided by 14. 14s are just like 15 that lost a friend. So I can think 15, 30, 45, 60, but I need to back it down a little bit. So the closest that I'm going to get is going to be 4. 4 times 14 gives me 56. When I subtract, I'm left with 3. I bring down my 5. And the closest that I'm going to get this time is 2. 14, 28. When I subtract, I'm left with a remainder of 7. So 42, remainder of 7. Something I noticed with this problem is that they both end in 5, so 845, and I'm dividing by 15. So my brain kind of likes this one, but let's see how it works out. So we know that 15s are not that bad to skip count by. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. The closest that I'm going to get with this one is going to be 75. So I'm going to say that 15 goes in 5 times. 5 times 15 is 75, and when I subtract, I get 9. I bring down my 5. I'm going to say that it can go in about 6 more times, and when I do that, that gets me 90. When I subtract, I'm left with a remainder of 5, 56, remainder of 5. My brain likes this one. Look, 11, 88. They're friends, right? 11 doesn't go into 8, but it goes into 88 8 times. 8 times 11 is 88 on the nose, but I tried to trick you. We have to say that 11 does not go into 0, and we show that with our 0 place saver. It divides in evenly. But remember, I need to ask myself, does this answer make sense? Because if I had just gotten 8, and I left this 0 out of my answer, and I checked my work with multiplication, I would only get 88. So make sure that we remember to put those zeros in to show when something doesn't fit. It's really important that every number gets a turn and every number is expressed in our quotient. All right, 496 divided by 10. 10 does not go into 4, but it does go into 49 4 times. 4 times 10 is 40, subtract for 9. Bring down my 6. 10 is going to go into 96 9 times, which is 90. 49, remainder of 6. Last one for this page. Let's see how we do. 14, it does not go into 1 or 13. We're going to have to stretch it all the way to 136, where it's going to go in 9 times, which means that I get to subtract 126. That leaves me 10. 10 looks scary, but remember our quick check. Is it smaller than what I'm dividing by? Absolutely. So even though it's big and scary, it is A-okay. I'm going into 102. The closest that I can get this time is 7, which is going to give me 98. When I subtract, I get 97 with a remainder of 4. All right, loves, 2 more pages. Here we go. We are up to 915 divided by 11. Make sure that you are taking the time to set your problem up correctly. 915 goes inside, divided by the 11 outside. Let's move it through. 11 does not go into 9, but it goes into 91 8 times. 88 is the closest that I can get when I do 91 minus 88. That's going to leave me with 3. I bring down my 5. It can go in 3 more times for 33. Leaves me with 83 and a remainder of 2. 732 divided by 17. 17 is not going to go into 7, but it will go into 73 4 times. Remember the power of guess and check. 17 is like 15 with 2 friends, so I can skip count by 15s. And then for every group I use, I'm going to add 2 more at the end. So what I mean by that is I can say 15, 30, 45, 60 is the closest I can get. But I need to add 16 to this because I had 4 groups. So that is one way to figure that out if I'm a little bit sticky. So the closest that I can get is 4 times, which is going to give me 68. When I subtract that from 73, I'm left with 5. Bring down my 2. 17 is going to go into 52 3 times because 3 times 17 is 51. That leaves me with a remainder of 143, remainder 1. 996 divided by 12. This one, surprisingly, is going to go in evenly. Some of you may know your 12, some of you may not. Either way, we have guess and check. 12 does not go into 9, but it goes into 99 8 times because 8 times 12 is 96. When I subtract, I'm left with 3. Bring down my 6. 12, 24, 36. That's going to go 3 more times and leave me with no remainder. 624 divided by 13 is our next one on this page. This one also is going to go in evenly. 13 does not go into 6, but it does go into 62 4 times. 4 times 13 leaves me with 52. This is another one with a big number after I subtract, but it's smaller than what I'm dividing by, so it is still a-okay. Bring down my 4. This is going to go in another 8 times. 8 times 13 is going to give me 104 on the nose. There is no remainder. Moving down to the final two on this page, 961 divided by 11. Working through, 11 goes into 96 8 times. I can pull 88 off of there. When I subtract my 88, I'm left with 8. I bring down my 1. Closest I can get this time is 7, which is 77. When I subtract, I'm left with 487, remainder 4. Last one for page number 4, we're dividing by 20. This one again is going to go in nice and evenly. I might notice that this ends with a 0, and that kind of gives me a clue that there's a big possibility that this is going to go in evenly. Even if I was not sure, it's something that I could look out for. So I'm going to start with, I could think of this as 2. Does 2 go into 146? Because really, if I throw a 0 on the end, that's my 20, right? So if I think, well, 2 goes into 14 7 times, I'm going to think 20 goes into 146 7 times. That means I can subtract that 140, bring down my 6 and my 0. 20 is going to go into 63 times. My final answer is 73. Use your math magic when you can, love bugs. Last page for this week. All right, 2,178 divided by 22. This one goes in evenly. 22 is going to go into 217 9 times. 9 times 22 is 198. When I subtract that, I'm left with 19. Bring down my 8. Notice the match. Another 9 times leaves me with no remainder. My answer is 99. Let's keep moving and grooving. 1,530 divided by 17. This is another one that goes in evenly. So I'm going to think, can 17 go into 1? No. 15? No. 153? Yes. 9 times. 9 times 17 is 153. Here's another sticky one. Bring down the 0. I have to show that this does not fit, because 9 times 17 gave me 153. If I keep that as my answer, I am quite a bit short. I show that it does not fit in by putting my 0. My answer is 90. 246 divided by 19, almost there. This one does have a remainder. We're going to say that 19 goes into 24 one time. And when I subtract 24, take away 19, I'm left with 5. I bring down my 6. Gonna go in another 2 times. 19 times 2 gives me 38. When I subtract that from 56, I'm left with a remainder of 18. This is super, super close to my divisor, but I'm 1 short of having enough for one more group. 409 divided by 12. I know my 12s, at least most of us know our 12s, so I'm going to use that. So I know that 12 can go into 40. If I skip count by 12s, I have 12, 24, 36. I'm going to go with 36. I subtract for 4, I bring down my 9. 12, I'm going to say it goes in another 4 times, because 12 times 4 is 48. 34 with a remainder of 1. Last one down the bottom. Oh, don't change on me now, pen. You've been so well behaved. We have 100. There we go. 150 divided by 16. I cannot divide it into 1 or 5. I can go into 150. It's going to go in 9 times, which gives me 144. When I subtract, I have a remainder of 6. My answer for this one is 9 remainder of 6. And then my last one, 1007 divided by 13. 13 is going to go into 100 7 times. 13 times 7 gives me 91. When I subtract, I have 9 and 7. 91 is still going to be the closest I can get. Leaves me with a remainder of 6. 77, remainder of 6. That is the end of our time for this week, my friends. Have an amazing weekend. See you next time.